Here's a quick overview of section 3.4, arithmetic sequences. Arithmetic sequence is when we're adding a constant amount every time, which we call the constant difference. So if I have this sequence 3, 7, 11, 15, 19, you can see that we're adding 4 every time. So that is an arithmetic sequence, and the common difference is 4. Now we have our subscript notation, so a sub 1 would mean the first term. So the first term is 3, so we can write a sub 1 equals 3. So we can use a sub n to represent a variable that is any term in that sequence. Now the term that came before it, if that's the fourth term, the term that came before it is the third term. So before a sub n would be a sub n minus 1. So for instance, in this sequence, the fourth term, when we look at this sequence, the fourth term is 15. And so the third term is the one that comes before it, is 11. So the fourth term is 15. A sub n minus 1, or 4 minus 1, is the third term, which is 11. So what we want to be able to do is write some formulas. The first kind of formula is a recursive formula. A recursive formula has two parts. The first part is a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus that common difference. So every recursive formula has a sub n equals a sub n minus 1. And then we just have the common difference at the end. The second part of the recursive formula, we have to identify the first term. So a sub 1 equals whatever the first term is. So looking at our sequence, we can see that the first term is 3. We identified the common difference as 4. So writing our recursive formula, a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 4. And then the first term, a sub 1, equals 3. So there's our recursive formula. The next formula is an explicit formula. The explicit formula starts with a sub n equals the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. But then we need to distribute that common difference and simplify the formula. So now if I distributed that d, I'd have d times n and d times negative 1. So my formula would work out to be d times n is dn, and then I'd have the difference between the first term and the common difference. So when we look at our original sequence, we have the a sub n equals the first term, 3, plus n minus 1 times the common difference, 4. So when we distribute that 4, we're going to have 4n, and then 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, and negative 4 plus the 3 is negative 1. So our equation is a sub n equals 4n minus 1. So this sets it up, but we want to always simplify our equation. Now here's another sequence. Let's write an explicit formula. Okay, each time as we go from term to term, we're adding 5. So since we're adding 5, that's what's going to be in front of the n. And then we're going to take that first term minus 5 is 3. So that's our first term minus our common difference. So our explicit formula would be a sub n equals 5n plus 3. Now, this is easy to set up. Whatever our common difference is, that goes in front of the n, and then the first term minus the common difference goes on the end. If we set it up like our original setup, where we have a sub n equals the first term plus n minus 1 times d. The first term is 8 plus n minus 1 times the common difference, 5. And then we distribute that 5, and we have 5n minus 5. And then we're going to combine like terms. The 8 and the minus 5 is 3. So then we're back to our answer, a sub n equals 5n plus 3. Now, lastly, given one of the formulas, explicit or recursive, we want to write the other kind of formula. So here's the first way. If we're given a recursive formula, we want to write an explicit formula. So here's the recursive formula. The first term is 7, and a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 4. The plus 4 is our common difference. So in a recursive formula, that's what goes in front of the n. And then we take the first term minus the common difference. 7 minus 4 is 3. That's what goes on the end. So a sub n equals 4n, or common difference, times n, plus the first term minus the common difference. 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, going the other way, write a recursive formula if we're given the explicit formula. So here's an explicit formula, a sub n equals 3n plus 8. First, we want to identify the first term. The first term is when n is equal to 1. So 3 times 1 plus 8 is 11. And then the 3, since that's in front of the n, that's our common difference. So we're adding 3 every time. So our recursive formula is a sub 1 equals 11, and a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 3. So there's our quick review of section 3.4.